Throughout the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages, I used a wide range of media technologies. In the planning stages, I used a selection of websites in my research in order to learn about pre-existing media products and the conventions of them. For example, YouTube provided me the opportunity to access a wide range of existing music videos in a similar genre to the song I was wishing to create a music video for. The fact that I used a Mac when researching these music videos meant that I was able to easily screen grab the different shots that appeared the most appropriate to the genre, as well as the ones that had the best effect. I was then able to write about these different images on pages in an easy format, which I was then able to use in my planning section for my final music video. In the research section, I also used the website SurveyMonkey in order to gather responses and information into what my target audience was expecting to see in a music video from my chosen genre. I then collated these responses and reviewed the responses I'd gathered by creating a Prezi. I used a 7D camera to film someone answering my questions in order to allow them to expand on their answers and familiarise myself with the editing software and camera equipment that I would be using to create my final music video. During the planning section, I created a storyboard. I did this by using a lightbox and tracing over images that I thought would be effective within my music video. After this, I developed my knowledge of Photoshop by using it to remove any of the edges that did not work within the storyboard so that it would be clearer and neater in the animatic. I also attempted to colour one of the sheets of my storyboard in with Photoshop. Although I decided not to continue doing this as I found the colour appeared too bright and bold for the genre of my music, the practice of Photoshop did mean that I felt confident using it when creating my digipack. After completing my storyboard, I used Adobe Premiere to order my different shots into the way that would appear in my music video, so that I was able to create a more realistic vision of my final music video. Moving on with the construction stage in my coursework, I used a 7D camera. Due to the fact that this allowed me to use a range of lenses in order to create different effects in varying shots within my music video. By using these programs, I was able to use a wide range of tools such as the Blade tool and Premiere, which allows me to quickly edit my music video and make the transitions between the shots look more effective. The fact that the videos in Premiere remain when they are placed, unlike in Final Cut where the videos will retract to the earlier spot, this made it easier for me to change between the locations within my music video, as well as the performance and narrative element within my music video. I then used a Mac computer to edit my music video using programs that I'd familiarised myself with in the research section of the coursework, such as Premiere and After Effects. When creating my digipack, I used InDesign. This proved useful as I was able to easily create layered images and insert images that I created on Photoshop. Using InDesign also made it easy for me to add copyright information that was necessary for my digipack in order to make it look realistic to my target audience. In order to create my artist website, I used Wix. This was an easy format to use and allowed me to create all of the different sections that met with the conventions of pop music artists such as tour dates and merchandise. During the construction stage, social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter proved vital in order to gather feedback on my music video drafts. I used Vimeo to upload my music videos. It was an easy way to send a link to those reviewing my music video. In the evaluation stage of my coursework, I again used Premiere in order to create a video with a voiceover for my evaluations. I also used the program QuickTime in order to gather different clips of my various software and tools.